with every passing day, Donald Trump is acting more like a despot, more like what we know he's always been. Now we're talking about June 14th. It seems like there's going to be a parade for supposedly for the 250th anniversary of the birthday of the Army. But of course, we know it's really the birthday of Donald Trump. And he's always wanted a military parade. And it seems like he's going to get one. So we'll go ahead and have tanks and big trucks rolling through the streets of D.C. And they're going to tear up the streets, even as one general says, maybe not all that bad. Whatever the case is, it's going to cost money. So here we got something that's going to cost us over $45 million to have a parade for the president as we cut veterans administrations, as we cut Medicaid, as we cut a lot of social services. But we have big banners around Washington, D.C. to really say, oh, to the president, oh, to the president. And now we have a $400 million airplane, 747, that was given to the president that he now wants us to turn into Air Force One so that later on he can take the plane into the Trump library and fly it whenever he wants to fly. Folks, don't you get the grift? And it's not just the grift. He wants us to pay for his grift. Check this little report out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Tim, this parade, as we've said, could cost up to $45 million at a very uncertain time in the economy. This, when the president has suggested, look, Americans buy few kids' dolls, fewer pencils. What message does it send, though, that it's okay for him to have a birthday celebration of this magnitude, but kids should cut down on the number of dolls they get?
Yeah, well, that's not a great message. I don't think if it's getting through to folks, Alex, I think that's part of the question, is if we live in these different bubbles of information. To me, just like on the merits of it, the amount of money that you're spending on this, when you're talking about the firing of federal government workers, you're talking about the firing of employees at DOD, across the military, and we're doing it simultaneously. We're having this big debate on the Hill that you guys have been covering, where the Republicans are trying to pass a bill that will increase the debt, by $6+ trillion. So together it is just incoherent, right? It's like we don't have enough money to pay for people that work at the VA. We need to cut some of our VA employees. And yet we do have enough money to throw a birthday party for the president where he gets to look at his shiny toys. And we do have enough money to cut taxes for the richest people in the country, and in a way that does not balance the budget, in a way that balloons the debt. It's like taken together, I think it's a pretty offensive policy program. It's just a question of whether, folks will interpret it like that.
General, this $45 million price tag does not include the cleanup or the expected repairs from damage to Washington's roads from the heavy tank traffic. Now, you just said previously that you don't think they will do any damage. I'm going to beg to differ, just because of numerous people with whom I've spoken said it will cause some damage. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, but give me a sense of the damage that can be caused by a tank on just the general asphalt roads, and what could be left behind.
Well, look, I spent much of my life in tank mech units. We have Reforger all over Europe and ran tanks down every cobblestone street in Europe. By and large, a tank, unless it turns sharply to the left or right, has a lower ground footprint on it than a 5-ton truck. So they're going to bring those vehicles in on tank transporters called HETs. They're going to try and not have them do pivot steer and go left or right. If they do some damage at turning points, they'll have to repair it. But I think that's a wrong argument. I think the right argument, the one that Tim makes, to look at it in a political sense, it just makes no sense. It's not part of the American culture. This isn't Bastille Day. We normally don't run heavy equipment in parades. By the way, the New York City parade after Desert Storm was 24,000 troops. So this is not a significant event, except that it's a politically boneheaded move to hijack an event for the 250th birthday of our proud U.S. Army and have it enhance the president's birthday, which sounds creepy to most of us.
Yeah. Do you think that message will get through, Tim? You suggested it's not getting through necessarily yet, but do you think it will? I mean, you think he might say something right around June 14th, don't you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, and combine it with other stuff, and that's the thing. It's always compounding with Trump, and it's everything about politics. Look, you're getting this free plane from the Qataris that costs $400 million that we're going to have to now. The taxpayers have to pay for making fancier for him. You have this big, I don't know if you've seen this big banner of Trump's face outside of the U.S. Department of Agriculture that looks like it's a third world despot, like where you kind of land in a third world country, and you have the Caudillo's face is up on all the government buildings. Right? So I think if you combine all these things together, it is creepy. There are going to be MAGA people that like it, but I do think that some folks are going to be turned off by this because it's not our culture, as the general's pointed out.
Now, this is ridiculous. Yep, it's not our culture, and it's a minority of people in this country who support all these shenanigans the president is doing. So what do I have to say right now? Americans, it's time for you to get up. It's time for you to engage. It's time for you to call all your Congress people and let them know this is completely acceptable. It's still in your hands because you know who has the power of the purse? Congress. And you know who controls Congress? You do. It's time for us to wake up. It is time.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.